In silence and solidarity, the two of you begin the short drive past Club's Heaven's Night and Pete's Bolorama, and down Mason Street, back to the Woodside Apartments. Streets are empty and strange. You see twisted forms hulking and shivering in the shadows of the mist, and crows gather to watch your car go past. The sound of birds cackling fills the air as you arrive at the apartments and come to an abrupt stop. Looks like it's the end of the line. The two of you shuffle slowly out of the car and towards the apartments. There's a police car out front that reminds you uncomfortably of the officer you met a couple times before. You hope he's not there. You make certain to knock on the car door, tensing in case something slams itself against the window in ravenous hunger. Nothing answers your knock. You give it a moment and then try to open the door. It creaks open. A thick stream of blood oozes down the driver's seat. There's a flashlight and some kind of piece of paper sitting in the bloody pool. You pick the paper up gingerly and unfold it as best you can, given the sticky red substance coating it. Though your vision is still swimming slightly, you realize as you look at it that it's a missing persons report for Vanessa Sunderland. But it's dated more than 6 months ago. You show the paper to Evelyn, and he shrugs. Just forget it. I've seen plenty of these. Bunch of newspapers won't be printed for years. Stuff like that. It's some kind of mind trap. You nod to Evelyn. Maybe it's best to ignore it for now, like he says. After all, even if it's true, all it is right now is a distraction. You push the note into your shirt pocket. You don't have room for much, but that'll be fine. Evelyn hands you his gun, and he grabs a loose pipe from nearby. The two of you face the doors to the Woodside Apartments. Looks like the floor might be wet. You stand to either side of the doors and open them. A small torrent of water comes out. Well, you're glad you didn't let that all rush out onto you. Probably would have been up to your calves at least. As it is, looks like your shoes, and maybe even your ankles, are getting wet in this floor of the apartment. Unfortunately, even once the water has stopped flowing, it looks like there's an inch or two at least pooling over the floor of the apartment. With a sigh, you and Evelyn make your way into the foyer. The water gurgles and splashes around your feet. The floor feels strange, squishy. As you sweep the room, you see some mailboxes on the wall, a set of stairs leading up, and a hall in front of you, leading to what might be a far door. You also see something undulating in the water down the hall. You move towards the mailboxes, asking Evelyn to keep a lookout for anything that might pose an issue. James's room is 208, so that's the mailbox you check first. Inside, you find an envelope and a small toy seemingly made out of foam and feathers. As you turn it over, you see the envelope says Marissa. It isn't sealed. In my restless dreams I see that town, Silent Hill. You promised me to take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you. Uncle James vanished into Silent Hill 3 years ago, the day that Mary died. Is this letter why he went? But why is that bitch Marissa's name on the envelope? Marissa will get what's coming to her soon enough. Unfortunately, as soon as you head up the stairs around the corner towards the second floor, you run into, well, it's a problem. The tree fills the stairwell nearly to bursting, its branches pressing up against the walls. You look up and find that it continues higher, through a hole in the ceiling, all the way at least to the 3rd floor. There doesn't look to be any way for you to get around it, unfortunately. However, you see something glint up in its higher branches. You're about to ask Evelyn to climb the tree, but you hardly even have time to open your mouth before Evelyn makes a gesture, pretending to roll up his non-existent sleeves, and hauls ass up the tree. He calls down to you. Looks like it wasn't a cross like you thought. It seems to be a maintenance key. Well, we got a fucking key now. Great. We'll go past whatever it is in the flooded hallway. Hey, maintenance could be outside. Do you think our luck's that good? Gun in hand and trained on the water, you march down the hall where that thing, whatever it is still lurking in the water. There's a door, a small one, on the side of the stairs, as well as one at the far end of the hall past the thing. You peek into the tiny room under the stairs, and oh god, you got your legs wet for this? What even is this? Another mannequin head. This one with a wig like your uncle's hair. A bunch of roots. Presumably from the tree above. You pick the head up tenderly, almost apologetically. There's something inside of its mouth. Because of course there is. You pull the mouth further open, a little worried about being bitten. Thankfully the teeth seem to be as rubber as the rest of the head. At least this time. Inside the mouth is another toy bird, which you pull out gingerly. A bird in hand. You compare the two birds. Each of them has a small metal nub sticking out of its butt. It looks like they might plug into something, perhaps as part of a decoration? Tucking the birds away, you gesture to Evelyn, who turns and beams the flashlight down the hall towards the door. Squirming in the water are things? Or something, pink and pulsating, as thick as pythons. You have no idea if they'll attack you if you go near them or not. They seem slow and sluggish, though that may only be a facade. Slowly inching down the hallway, your back up against the wall as that thing undulates in the water with you. It feels like it takes ages. Finally, the two of you make it to the door. It's slightly ajar. You peek out the door and into the courtyard. Oh, great. Great. Well, ladies first it is. The two of you step out into the dank courtyard, smelling of blood, mold, and chlorine. You and Evelyn explore the courtyard, weapons in hand, giving the pool a wide berth for now. It seems on the west side of the courtyard there's a tall iron mesh fence, with barbed wire strung along the top. There's a door in the fence. It's hard to see, but beyond the mesh fence there seems to be some sort of painted mural in red and gold. Evelyn reports the other side of the courtyard is mostly windows into apartments, too dirty to see through. But it looks like there's another door into the other side of the apartment building at the south, right across from where you came in. You peered between the wires of the mesh fence into where the mural is. 3 women in hooded cloaks sit on their knees. Behind them are branches with brightly colored birds sitting in them. Each of the women holds a golden bird cage. This cage, as well as their arms, project from the wall and the murals in 3 dimensions towards you. Real bird cages, and who knows, maybe real arms. You turn away from the mural and head back to the pool and the tree. After all, birds are in trees, right? The tree is covered with blood, some of it bright red and fresh, some dried and old. There are scraps of bloody rope hanging from the branches as well. There's something carved onto the bark of the tree. You peer into the water of the murky, blood-filled pool, suspecting that there may be something in there, hidden beneath the water. Unfortunately, the water is so murky as to be almost completely opaque, and all you can see is the reflection of the tree and yourself in the water. You look strange. You feel like you hardly recognize yourself. Evelyn comes up behind you and touches you gently on the shoulder. Let's not go fishing unless we absolutely gotta, yeah? You should probably listen to his advice. Backing away to the pool, you continue to check the courtyard. In one corner, there's a trio of old, faded plastic pool chairs around a small table. One of the chairs is covered in sticky blood, a disgusting parody of the wet mark usually left on these kinds of chairs. There's something sitting on the table. Turns out it's a baby monitor. The light is off, and when you check the side, it doesn't look like it has any batteries right now. There doesn't seem to be much more out here in the courtyard besides the door you haven't checked yet. Unless you want to go swimming, that is.